ELA B30 has been a movie.
What makes you so sure?
ELA B30 has covered two major themes, the first of which is the search for self, which concerns themes of identity, values, inner conflicts, and self-discovery.
Stealing my identity.
The second is the social experience, which concerns themes of community, societal expectations and norms, belonging, and power.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
All of these themes, while different in their own right, directly affect each other. Some examples are that someone's search for self occurs within or against society.
She has merely broken a rigid and time-honored code of our society.
And that society can induce stereotypes or stigma that may make it difficult to explore or maintain one's sense of self.
Say absolutely nothing about the practice of racism here in American society.
Today we'll break down the contents and themes of ELA B30, relating text to one or both of the two major themes, while using a 3-act structure to make a collective narrative out of said themes touched upon this semester.
We are waiting.
Identity.
Why are you wearing that?
The poem Identity by Julio Polanco deals with themes of, shocker, identity. In this case, the search for self. Specifically, this poem preaches the contrast of being true to yourself instead of fitting in.
But, fitting in isn't always a good thing.
Advocating to always be authentic to you despite societal pressures, because it is always better to be free as a weed than to be plucked as a flower. This denial of societal pressure also fits into our second overarching theme, being the social experience, as individual beliefs are prioritized over societal norms.
He was so good at fitting in, no one ever saw him.
Senior Stress by Sasha Rivera recounts the day-to-day life we are currently living from an almost cynical point of view.
School sucks!
This relates directly to the social experience, as our main character is forced to partake in school due to the value placed upon school itself and expectations for her involvement despite her own academic burnout.
Being in high school sucks.
The satire and irony present throughout the essay feel almost like a rebellion against society putting too much value on schooling, and schooling not putting enough value on its students.
His school sucks, man!
We at this point in the film are a symbolic black sheep. We don't fit in, and we resent the world because of it. We are a weed amongst flowers, and despite making peace with that, we still expect the world to change. We are cynical and hopeless. This is our introduction.
We live in a cynical world. Cynical world.
Shooting an elephant.
I say to you, don't think about elephants.
In George Orwell's Shooting an Elephant, we very prominently see both major themes. By shooting the elephant and giving in to society's expectations, the main character maintains his status, but at the cost of his sense of self, as he has now betrayed his own morality.
The weakness, Peter, is morality.
At its core, the story is about how difficult it is to reclaim one's identity, and how the loss of that identity can haunt you.
Your identity is your most valuable possession.
Now forced to metaphorically kill our own elephant, we have betrayed everything we thought we believed in to maintain status in a society we didn't even necessarily want a status in. This is our inciting incident, and it concludes Act 1.
And scene.
Hamlet.
Thank God it's Hamlet.
Shakespeare's Hamlet, to me, is a cautionary story about losing oneself. In an ultimately selfish journey of vengeance, a once prideful man becomes what he once sought out to destroy. On his journey to overthrow a corrupt government, he himself becomes corrupt.
They're evil and corrupt and degraded.
In Hamlet's response to the fear of his father's death going unavenged, and his kingdom being under a false rule, he sacrifices his individual beliefs for rebellion.
He sacrificed himself for the rebellion.
This connects directly to both the search for self and the social experience, as one's identity is unfortunately defined by a maddening crusade to shine light on a corrupt society.
Give me evil, sexy Hamlet.
After selfishly betraying our own value system for a social status we don't even believe in, we revolted. We had to right this lapse in judgment. Unknowingly, we delved further away from who we once were, and even worse, hurt the people around us. I Am Not I.
I don't recognize myself sometimes either, sir.
I Am Not I, as a poem, explores themes of self-awareness or a divided self, a recognition of not being the person you believe yourself to be. To me, the main thing that stuck out in this poem is its point of view.
It's a point of view, Anakin.
It describes an almost out-of-body experience as they act not necessarily how they believe they would or should act. It is this literal search for self, or even question of oneself, that connects directly with the theme of the search for self.
I didn't even recognize myself.
Via sudden out-of-body experience, we are now starting to see our faults. We are not ourselves. This is our rising action.
This is getting good, boys.
12 Years a Slave.
So who here saw 12 Years a Slave?
12 Years a Slave was my independent novel study. It features many themes, but the main ones I want to focus on is dehumanization and survival.
There are levels of survival we are prepared to accept.
The novel, taking place in the 1840s, follows the slave trade, more specifically what it takes to survive the slave trade. My favorite quote in the novel details how in order to survive, you must give up who you are. Tell no one your name, forget you know how to read. These societal norms on how to survive link directly to the theme of the social experience, and the ways in which these norms are proven wrong links directly to the search for self.
I don't want to survive! I want to live!
Solomon Northup, the main character, doesn't want to survive if it means giving up who he is. He stays complacent, but only when necessary. Ultimately, Solomon escapes and returns to life as a free man, going through unthinkable torture, yet maintaining his sense of self. This is our climax, our grand display. Think somebody opposing a marriage.
This is your last stand.
We prove to ourselves and to others that we can be who we think we should be. It's possible. We can break the mold. This is the end of the second act. If I should have a daughter.
And I'm just gonna swoop in there and be like the daughter she never had.
Imagining the love she could pass on to a possible future daughter, Sarah Kay delivers a strong spoken word poem with themes of hope, confidence, and self-discovery.
A man I knew used to say that hope is like your car keys.
This poem fits into the theme of the search for self as Sarah guides her hypothetical daughter through her own search for self, navigating the horrors life may hold, but also maintaining a hope for a brighter tomorrow.
We can seize this moment to create a better, more hopeful future for our children and our families.
The Story of an Hour.
Here, at this final hour.
The Story of an Hour is a short story which connects to both the search for self and the social experience, as Mrs. Mallard, upon her husband's death, discovers her sudden freedom from societal expectations and gets to be free.
Now, why don't you go celebrate your freedom with your own friends?
Despite her husband being kind and caring, his presence and the role she was forced to play in the life that died with him ultimately held her back from living her life the way that she wanted. This story, through themes of independence, self-discovery, and freedom, tells a story about living for yourself.
Living for myself!
Through our journey, we have maintained who we once were with the newfound hope of a brighter tomorrow. We realize that the world isn't perfect, and we don't want it to be. In some way, it's its own tall and ugly weed. It will never be a beautiful flower. But we know now, more than ever, that that's okay. We are done waiting for the world and society to change around us, and have decided to be the change that we want to see.
Be the change you want to see. Okay.
This is our resolution, and the end of the third act.
In case I don't see ya. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.